There's a truly frightening article in Addicting Info that explains how there's a town in Florida that's basically operating under Catholic Sharia. Now, that sounds like an exaggeration, but let me explain. Addicting Info reports, quote, Ave Maria, Florida houses only about 2,500 residents. It's the pet project of Domino's Pizza founder Tom Monahan, who is strictly Catholic. Monahan fancies himself a philanthropist, modeling himself after Bill and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett. He wants to give away half his nearly $500 million fortune before he dies, but unlike Simpsons co-creator Sam Simon, who is using his entire fortune to feed humans and feed and shelter animals, Monahan wants to give us the Catholic version of Sharia law. They continue, shortly after Monahan sold Domino's Pizza to Mitt Romney's Bain Capital, he spent $300 million of his $1 billion windfall to open 2 Catholic schools. So, the school curriculum had input from Antonin Scalia. Scalia helped create this school and their curriculum and the ideas behind it. He's, of course, the uber-Catholic and insanely far-right conservative who's on the Supreme Court. And then Monahan decided to spread out, not just to run schools and build the schools, but also to the entire town. The town brags to be, quote, Southwest Florida's newest hometown, a town where children can ride their bikes to school, walk to the candy store, and scoot their way to the ice cream shop, where neighbors are friendly and life is good, where everyone enjoys a life as it is meant to be lived. Yeah. So they try to paint themselves as like a Leave It to Beaver throwback 1950s-like place to live. But here's what really goes on. There's no birth control allowed in the town. There's no porn or X-rated channels allowed in the town. No abortion doctors. And the town operates off of conservative Catholic values. And this is such a problem that the ACLU commented on this and said, quote, there are a lot of big questions, among them whether medical care would be dictated by religious rules. For example, what if someone with a do not resuscitate order had an incident of some kind? Would the hospital respect the order? What advice would a rape victim get? What kind of referrals? Now, here's the craziest part. This town is suing the Obama administration in a case that's very similar to Hobby Lobby. And it's, of course, about the town's policy on birth control. They're suing the Obama administration over that. So what's going to happen if this gets to the Supreme Court? Since Scalia helped create this town, this uber-conservative Catholic haven, 2,500 people haven, where they've banned birth control. What's going to happen if this gets to Scalia? Now, we already know Scalia has a history of not recusing himself when he should recuse himself. So what if he hears the case and they decide they allow this? And then, naturally, the final point to make on this, and probably the most important point, imagine for a second a Muslim community tried to do the same thing. If you go to Southwest Florida and you name your town Ave Maria and you ban birth control, everybody looks the other way. If you say no porn here, no X-rated channels here, everybody looks away. It's okay, guys, they're Catholics. They're good religious people. But if you go to certain communities in the U.S., there are very few, but there are some communities that have a good number of Muslims. If you go to a certain town and they decide, well, look, they're doing it Ave Maria in Southwest Florida. They have a Catholic town. Why can't we do a Muslim town? Why can't we implement Sharia law here in Minnesota? I wonder how Antonin Scalia would rule in that case. Do you think that Scalia would be okay with the town he helped build, Ave Maria, which is Catholic Sharia, but he wouldn't be okay with real Sharia, Muslim Sharia in Minnesota? I believe there's a word for that, Antonin. What's the word I'm looking for? Oh, yes. Hypocrite.